So, hey guys, you know what time it is? It is the first Wednesday of the month, which means it is Marked Mage Bio Time. Um, as many of you know, this is actually going up right after my GoFundMe, and if you're watching this in the future, then you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. But the GoFundMe is still going. Thank you for everyone who's donated so far. It really means the world to me. I love you all, and you're all just the best beebs ever. And there's a little difference one this time. For this Marked Mage bio, I actually want to talk a little bit about Seren's character design and a little bit more about her, mostly because a lot of her character I actually do not want to spoil because she in herself is a very very important character to the entire complexity of the whole thing. But let's get started. So like I talked about in my other ones, Seren is special to me because she's actually the third mage I ever created. And I know it might seem odd, but this is actually like my third or fourth time recording the audio for this because I ended up getting so excited talking about her that I ended up letting loose some very, very, very important story spoilers. And with the Marked Mage bios, I'm trying to keep them as spoiler light as I can. You know, so you're learning more about the character and the personality and what they're like and their little bit of histories over what's actually happening in the story. And with Seren, that's very, very, very hard. So let's roll into it. So Seren, as you can tell, is a very different design. When I made her design is a lot like Ringmaster's, where it once I actually finalized it, I didn't change much besides actually look up what a straitjacket looks like and a lot of other things. And before I feel bad saying this, but I have to. She's not one of those, oh my god, I'm so crazy, lol, the voices talk to me kind of character. I know she looks like it, but she's definitely not, and that's how she's always been. She's actually a very quiet character, and she is the oldest out of the bunch because she is the Mage of Time. Now, I've talked about this before in the other ones, where See, I'm already stumbling over my words. Each mage has their own unique trait, but that doesn't mean they can't do other magic. I think I need to emphasize this because a lot of people kind of don't get it. They think they can only do one type of thing. They can't. They can do any type of magic they really want, but their what their base soul energy is, that like defines them. So for a good example of this, Tetsu is an earth mage, so her weakness is very much fire. She can't really do fire magic. She's very good, but even then she's not good with fire. It's hard to control for her. It's vice versa. So Seren's a little wild card because she's time, and in doing so, there's also something else I've loosely talked about, where each mage cannot be killed by their element. So, you know, Tybalt, the only ones who I had to like fubble with were Tybalt and Adrian's because theirs were the hardest ones to do. Mostly because it was, you know, darkness and light. And I'm like sitting here like, oh fuck, how this was. So I came up with them would be, okay, so Adrian can't die Adrian can't die at night. Which is actually funny because none of them really know this. So, you know, they actually are immortal at night. Same goes for Tybalt. He can't die during the day. And with all the other mages, the other things, you know, kind of, it's more easier, literal with them. Ringmaster can't drown. Alador can't suffocate. Lorelei can't burn. You get my gist. So because of that, Seren cannot die from time, and her base power, there's a proper word for it, but I'm not going to say it right now, is because each mage also has a base power they can't exactly turn off. I talked about in Tybalt's where he can't lie and stuff like that. Well, Seren's is, once she awakened at 13, she stopped aging. Now, very clearly, she didn't used to look like this, and actually, hopefully, as long as my stressful life can ease up a bit, because it can be very, you know, hectic and sporadic, which is not good on the mind. But I want to actually get her second part done because yes, she does not have a glamour form. I'm actually going to do her before and after self, so you're going to see what she used to look like before she looks like, well, how you see her now, how you see me working on her. And I had to do a lot of research into her character because I really wanted to work with trauma. I find it fascinating, the certain things that people go through, as well as the limits and the capacity which a person can take trauma. Obviously, everyone's different and yada yada yada. But I looked up really extreme cases when I was getting more serious with Marked, I should say. When I first had her design was always like this, but like I said, she was never the like edgy, smart, I'm insane, crazy character. I never wanted that for her, and I never saw that as her for her. So when I was doing research, I was looking into, ironically enough, a lot of medieval insane asylums and items like that, and what they would do to people in there, and how people would survive. You'd have people living, for their entire lives for the most part in these places when they weren't actually insane. They didn't have anything wrong with them. It was, anything from, you were a homosexual to you were caught masturbating. It's really interesting if you want to look into like the history and lore of like insane asylums and stuff. And so I was working with that, and I was seeing what they all had to go through, and I was like, I really want to have this because it makes a lot of sense. And Seren, the reason why she looks the way she does is because of certain events that unfold in the story, which is why I can't really explain that too much. But everything has a purpose. She's not just edgy to be edgy, which was a hard thing for me to do. And I think this is an important thing in character creation in general. Like I said, she always sort of looked like this. I had an idea for this. Her personality was a little different, but her design never really changed. She always had the her sideburns, her two chops of the hair, which is actually two different sections of her hair. I've always tried to like emphasize that, and I can never do it properly. So she doesn't have well, you'll see it when I get to the inking portion if I haven't already done that. She has like a cropped of hair at the top of her head, and there's actually a very small divot, not in her head, but like where there's going to be the break between where the white hair is and the black hair starts. And I'll leave to your imagination, since I've already kind of talked about the whole marking system and everything. Or if I did, maybe I didn't. If I didn't, I'll go back and check through when I'm doing Tetsu, since Tetsu's actually the last one. But there's reasons for why her hair looks like that. The time mage is under the color white, which, again, like I said, since she was the third mage I ever created, I wanted to stick with that. And time has always kind of been white, so that's one of the ones where I'm like, okay, whatever, your thing will fit your element this time. But God, Seren. There's so much I want to talk to you about her because she's so much fun. She has because of all she's gone through, she has a very like dry sense of humor, and she's also very, very monotone when she talks, but she overall comes with this very like kind of calm and collected, or even a sometimes bored demeanor. And I also had to do a lot of research into like when I wanted to make a character, because I always wanted her to be the time mage. I was like, okay, crap, I had to look up a lot of loopholes, because everybody knows when you're writing a story or you have a thing, when time travel's involved or time anything, it's really, really easy to fuck up. And so how I had it for her magic and everything is, like I said with everything else, so she can do almost anything, mostly because of her age and just how long she's had to practice. And she's also the last mage to actually be properly taught. I don't like using this comparison because I'm not that big a fan. I mean, I like it, but I'm not. But it's in a way, it's a lot like Star Wars, where the prequels that everyone shits on, but I grew up with, I think they're fucking okay. I don't know. Fight me. But then again, I'm not a diehard Star Wars fan, so whatever. You got to see like how their culture was and how it was a religion and this whole thing, and then you see it get dismantled, and then when you have the Luke Skywalker saga and everything, you see how like so much has been lost. The grace has been gone, the histories, all that stuff. Even with the fact that Rey took the books in the newest one, I kind of wanted to do that with Marked before I got into Star Wars, because I was a kid. I didn't grow up with the original three. I grew up with the prequels. And so when I was like actually finalizing everything and going through histories, I'm like, that's actually a lot like what I have with Seren, which is also why, if you notice, her outfit doesn't have the orb with her. Like I said, except for probably Lorelai's, every other marked mage character has a certain orb thing incorporated into their outfits somehow, because those are all very important. Seren doesn't need that because she's already been properly trained. And so, because of that, technically, she is the strongest mage out of the bunch, which is why she also is. I don't exactly want to say the leader, but she's the one kind of looking out for everybody. By that, she is the one who had to protect their culture and their way of being. So she's the one that everyone has to kind of go to when they meet her, because not everyone meets her at the same time, to be like, oh, okay, I need to do this. And she'd be like, okay, well, here, this is the scroll, this is the book, whatever. Or more so, she probably wouldn't even say that. She would probably just end up like they would be having this crisis and then it would just be there. And a lot of the time, they don't question it right away because a lot of the mages are like, oh, it's magic, kind of thing. And then she's like, no, it's actually me. And it's actually really funny, even though she's the most powerful one, besides using her magic to keep herself upright, because I didn't give her the stiletto heel pose just to give her the stiletto heel pose. She actually does that because, as you see, again, I'm at this part, her legs are the most marked on her body because that's where she was most, well, cut up. And so because of that, she still has a lot of pain there. So that's when she uses her magic to actually kind of hold herself up, which a lucky friend of mine caught it, and they were like, oh, it must be terrible on her ankles and stuff. And I'm like, you got the reason why. It's one of those like double-edged sword things. So because of that, she also doesn't really like floating around. She likes walking. She likes taking her time. All the time jokes, I know. And she really just enjoys being in the moment, which I also had to try to research and to get right, because a lot of people take for granted, being in the moment. So what she'll actually tend to do, is she'll actually stop time for a small period of time for herself, so no one else will notice. But she'll just kind of take her sweet time and just walk around, explore, see things, enjoy things in the fleeting moments we miss, because she can actually pause time and enjoy it. And I've already been rambling a long time, so I think I'm gonna leave it here. But I actually have a question for you guys, because next month is going to be my last marked mage bio for the main marked story cast. Would you guys like me to do other marked mages? Because I do have other marked mages for other stories that don't coincide with the marked story. They actually have their own stories in the same world, but it's in completely different generations. In fact, I did that on purpose because I've talked about this in my book Rambles podcast and other things, where I really, really hate prequel books that like are the main characters kind of, this is how they got from there to there, because I'm always like, well, if that's the book, then why didn't that one come out first and we just go with the journey? So I purposely said it so it's about 5,000 years before the main events of the main marked story happens. So the reason why I'm asking is because, as I've said in my 2018 goals thing, I'm working on Ticks and Turns, and I want to get Ticks and Turns done this year so I can get it edited and published next year. So that's, not even marked. And so I'm hoping after that to get started on marked, where I, actually sit down and really work on it, because I've been working on it and I do write chapters for it every now and then, but my focus has been on Ticks and Turns and work and just life. So like I said, let me know. I really do want to know if you guys want me to know more about this world, because I actually I'm still going to be doing other character bios for marked in the meantime, but I don't think I'll do the videos for all of them, because some of them are just side characters or just fun characters that I've designed. So okay, I'm definitely rambling enough. I'm gonna leave it here. Again, thank you guys so much. If you guys don't know, my GoFundMe link to help pay for my wedding is going to be in the description. And yes, I'm probably going to be talking about this at the end of almost every video, up until the deadline for our wedding is going to be, which is in October. So with that done, I hope you guys enjoyed. And as always, guys, I will see you next time. Bye.